I'd like to welcome everyone back to the NK Autos channel. Today we're going to be doing a 2 series video. So this is going to be the first video and then I'm going to release the second video after. We're going to be installing a lift kit on my GX470. As you can see, I do have the stock rims put on. I did sell my old ones. I am beginning phase 2 of what I want to do with the car. So right in this box, you have the Old Man Emu upper control arm. We have this front differential drop. And then we also have the Toyotech Boss 2 to 3 inch lift kit. This is for the front. However, the back ones are going to be coming soon. So today we're just going to be doing the front part of the car. And as you can see, these are the coils. And then we have the sway bar spacers. And then we do have some hardware in another bag. So getting started, I'm going to start off with the differential drop. I already went ahead and took off the front 2 shields, which are just held on by some 12mm bolts. So we're going to take a jack stand and we're going to go underneath the car and I'm going to show you what to do next. Alright, as you can see, we're underneath the car and we have these 2 front differential mounts. We have one right here and then one right here. We're going to take a jack and we're going to put it underneath our front differential right here. And we're going to put some pressure on it. We're going to take these bolts off and we're going to loosen them. And we're going to drop the differential about 1 inch so that we can put the spacers in. So let me get my kit over here. Let me get the jack underneath the front differential and we'll start working on the front. Okay, as you can see, I do have my jack stand over here. I do have a little bit of force put onto the front differential. Now we're going to be working on taking these 2 front bolts off. And I'm going to get the kit over here and I'll show you what's inside the kit. This is the kit I purchased from Toyotech. And inside we have some instructions, which shows you how to install this differential drop. We have some 1-inch spacers for the front. We have some longer bolts for the front as well. And then we have a little kit, and you can see these little circle spacers. This is going to be for the front splash guard. And then these bolts are also going to be the extensions for some of the other parts. So we're going to put that to the side for right now, and we're going to work on dropping this front differential. So let me just get my braking bar. Let's break these loose, and let's put these new ones in. We're also going to need to hold onto the top with a wrench. Alright, make sure to save this washer because these washers are going to be reused, as well as take off the nut on top, just so we have this as a set. Put that down, and then we're going to work on this right and this left one. Okay, now with these 2 bolts out, we can slowly take the jack and just lower it a little bit. Alright, I had to go off camera for a second, but as you can see, I just put the jack down a little bit and just pry these down. We do have about 1 inch of room on both sides. So we're going to take this collar and we're going to slip it in. Like so. And just drop this down a little bit more. Like so. And now we're going to have to play around with aligning it. So we're going to take back our bolts. We're going to be using these brass ones. We do have included this washer and this nut. It's going to be part of this kit. So taking this left one, we're going to start off with this one first. We're going to take the top nut off. We're going to keep the washer upwards. We're going to take this brass bolt, put it up like so, and we're going to shimmy it through this hole. Like so. And we're going to take our washer, put it on the top, and then our nut as well, put it on the top here. And then we're going to lightly tighten it just so it's on there so it doesn't back out while we're doing the right hand side. Okay, with the left hand side, we're going to do the same to the right hand side. Take this bolt, take off the washer, take our new brass bolt, put the washer on like so, take our another washer and our nut, keep those in hand, and let's see, you guys can see. Yep. I'm going to force it through. Like so. Take the washer, put it on top, and our nut. Okay, and now we can take our adjustable wrench and our ratchet, and we're gonna tighten that. Okay, with both of those bolts and spacers put into place, we can now take our torque wrench and we're gonna torque it down. It says between 50 to 70, so we're gonna go to 60 foot-pound of torque. So let me just get my torque wrench and we're gonna torque those down. Alright, with both of those torqued down, we're done with the differential drop. And now we can start working on doing the lift kit in the front. Alright everyone, so I did do the right hand side already. As you can see, I have the upper control arms done and the lift kit put in. I did this right side because the left side and the right side are the same. I just wanted to see if I could get everything done. It went pretty smoothly, so let me get you to the left hand side and then we're going to start taking the wheels off, and then after the wheels we'll take the sway bar. I already dropped it. As you can see, it's hanging. We do have the extensions that we have to put on, but we're gonna just connect the sway bar from the left hand side, and then we're gonna do the springs, the coil, and the upper control arms. So let me just get to the left hand side and start on that. Okay, with the wheel off, we can now see that the sway bar is disconnected on the right-hand side. We're just gonna come up here and disconnect this top piece as well. Maybe 17 millimeter. Okay, with that sway bar disconnected, we can now work on this link hinge. So we're gonna take some needle nose pliers. We're gonna pop off this cotter pin. Like so. Putting that to the side. And you can now take our 12 millimeter and loosen this brake line from both sides. Okay, with that first bolt taken off, we're just going to put it back into its thread. And then we're going to work on this 10 millimeter right here. Put this bolt back. Okay, with that taken off, now we're going to take this upper controller arm linkage off. It's going to have a 19 millimeter socket. We're going to put that onto our ratchet, and we're going to break that loose like so. And then here comes the hard part. Make sure that you leave this on for a little bit of thread, and we're going to take our mallet. There we go. As you can see, it popped off. And now we can get something to support this wheel. I do have a bungee cord. I will put a bungee cord on this lower part. It's also nice if you have a smaller jack to put the jack underneath the hub. Okay, and we're just gonna pop this jack underneath, like so. Then I have it a little bit on the rotor. I'm going to take my bungee cord, connect it to this linkage, and then connect it to something else. Like that part to the frame. That's perfect, that's held on. Now we can work on disconnecting this top piece. So we're gonna take these clips, Okay, once that clip is taken off, there's a clip up here that we will pull out. As you can see, all that salt from being up here in the rust belt. And now we can take some Allen keys, maybe SAE, say, and we're gonna find the one that fits onto these top little bolts. And we're gonna loosen it. Okay, with one of them loosened, we're gonna work on the back one. This is probably the most annoying part about this lift kit, is to get these sensors off for the ride control. This sensor is a sensor that on the inside of your car, you can change the sensitivity of sport to comfort, and these shocks will change stiffness or cording. I'm going to zoom forward once I get this back nut off, and then we'll continue the video. Okay, with this top sensor taken off, now we can work on taking apart this top bracket. There's going to be another nut on top here that you have to remove. Once you have that removed, this top piece of the bracket will also come off, like so. And you can put this to the side. We're not going to be reusing that for this new kit, so now we can just worry about taking off these old bolts, the ones down here that's holding on the shock, and we can then drop this and then work on the upper control arm. So let me just get my 19mm here. Caster nut put aside, we're not using that either. As you can see, with an impact, it makes easy work. I'll have to work on these top nuts. I hope you guys can see. I just had to get a little bit of leverage for the top bolts, but I'm using 2 wrenches to create more mechanical advantage. And with that, I was able to get all these nuts loosened. I'm using a 16mm wrench to take these top ones off. I do have a leveling kit installed on here that I did a while back. As you can see, the spacer on the top of the spring. Okay, that's one off. Another one. This last one. Then we're going to take this bottom bolt out for the shock. All right. And be prepared because that shock might spring out a little bit. Gonna lower the jack a little bit more. All right, there we go. With that taken out, we can put our bolt to the side, and then we could slowly shimmy the coil, the old strut out. Like so. Put this bad boy to the side. And then we're just gonna inspect everything. Okay. I do have these aftermarket mud flaps installed. We're gonna have to take this right one and take it off. Okay, and now with the shock taken out, we can work on the upper control arm. I'm gonna have to find a different location for this spring, this bungee cord to go. Since we are going to be removing this upper control arm. Okay, that's gonna work for now. I did take this top mud flap off. And just move it to the side. We're gonna take a 3/4 for the front side. And then we're gonna take a 19mm. But we're also gonna be taking this brake line and we're gonna be removing it so that we have room for our ratchet. And that's gonna be a 12mm. Okay, with that taken out, we can pop this brake line housing out, move it a little bit to the side, and that's going to have just enough room for that 19mm breaker bar to go. So we're going to take our breaker bar and our 3/4 wrench. We'll put the wrench up here in the breaker bar, and we're going to push the breaker bar down. Okay, we're gonna do that a couple times until it's loose enough for us to use a ratchet. Okay, that should be good. Now we can take our ratchet and loosen this upper control arm bolt all the way. Okay, and with that removed, we can now take this long bolt out. Just gonna hammer it in a little bit. As you can see down here, I don't know how well you can see, but that bolt is in the way by this cable. So we're gonna need to remove this clip that's held on by I believe a 10mm. So let me get my 10mm socket over here. Okay, with that taken off, we can then move this back a little bit and move the bracket out of the way. And then we can pull out our upper control arm bolt, as you can see. I don't think this battery tray is going to get in the way. It's just, I have to play with it a little bit. I am going to loosen this just a tad. As you can see down there, the bolt is pretty long and it is touching the end of this clip. Maybe we won't have to disconnect it all the way, just lift the battery a little bit, take the bracket out. Okay, yeah, I just lifted it up a little bit and that gave me enough room. Now I could go back down. And then that bolt is going to be movable. Okay, there we go. This is going to be the old upper control arm. Okay, this is going to be the old Man Emo one. We do have a little protective housing for the top of the bushing. We're going to take that out. This is my 1/4. Take this out as well. There we go. Now with that put in, we can take put this to the side, take the shock. Okay, so now we have the lift kit, the spring. We're gonna take it, pop it in. There's no really easy way of doing this. You can now lower this jack a little bit. With the jack placed back, you can now raise it up again. Okay, with that raised, we're going to take our hardware, and it's going to be washers, and these washers are going to go with the bolts. Okay, with everything loosely put in, we're also going to be putting the bottom nut in. With everything hand tight, we can now work on connecting all of these bolts, as well as putting in the upper control arm. So we're gonna start with taking the upper control arm up. Okay, and then we can go to the top and play around with this bolt until it clears this battery plate. There we go. Okay, we're going to let that hang. We're going to go back up. Push it in a little bit further. All right, it's going to be all the way. And now we can put our washer and our nut back. And then we're going to tighten everything. So we're going to tighten the top of the coil and the spring. We're going to tighten both ends of the upper control arm. We're going to tighten the bottom nuts. We're going to tighten this linkage and everything. I'm going to get everything connected. We'll come back to the video and then we'll connect the sway bar. Okay, so we are back and we have the caster nut with the pin in. We have the upper control arm torqued down to 70 foot-pound-feet of torque. We have this ABS line connected up here. We have the brake line connected down here. We have the brake lines connected up there again. We have the bottoms torqued down too. And now what we can do is connect the sway bars. The sway bars, I have a kit that came with this that drops the sway bar a couple inches down. So let me get the kit. We'll put the plates onto the frame and then we'll mount up the sway bars, which is going to be the last thing we have to do. Okay, and lastly for the sway bar relocation kit, we're going to take the brackets marked L and we're going to take our longer bolts and we're going to run them through here at the bottom. We're going to get an Allen key that matches. Okay. And now we can work on this mount. And now we're going to be doing the same thing to the right hand side with this right bracket. Okay, so this is a couple days later, but I forgot to record the ending to the sway bar relocation. I did do the right side, as you can see here. It's all mounted up. It was a little bit hard to get the sway bar up there and connected, but I got it up there and I connected it to both sides. So that is done with the front lift kit, the sway bar relocation, and the differential drop. As you can see here, I do have the RCI mounted up. I will have a video of how I installed this, as well as the RCI shield for the rear differential coming soon. So that's gonna end it for now with the lift kit for the front. As you can see, I have it installed. I do have the rear shocks, springs, and conversion kit for the back coming in. So I will be uploading a video on that soon. I do have a couple things planned already, so just stay tuned. Make sure to like, subscribe. If you have any questions about how I did the lift kit, or if you just have any questions regarding it, make sure to leave a comment or reach me on my Instagram. I would like to thank everyone for 1,000 subscribers. I'm really happy. I will be uploading some more cool content soon, so just stay tuned.